Partners, thanks so much for joining in, taking your time today to listen and know more about Western Sydney University. My name is Janice, and I'm from Western Sydney Uni. So today I will talk about some of the top programs and why students should study at Western Sydney. So throughout my presentation, if any of you have any questions, feel free to enter them in the Q&A box below. And then at the end of the presentation, I'll have an actual Q&A session to address any questions you may have. Right. So today I'm going to just start by addressing some of the key points of why you should send students to Western Sydney University. First of all, Western Sydney is currently the top 2% of universities in the world. We are actually a young university, which is around 31 years old. We just turned 31 years old this year. To be able to make our way up to the top 2% in such a short period of time, it actually shows the speed of growth for the university. And most importantly, Western Sydney Uni is currently #1 in New South Wales for employer satisfaction. So this proves that all the graduates from Western Sydney is actually ranked the most satisfactory amongst employers in New South Wales compared to the graduates from other institutions. We are also now 3rd in the world for Times Higher Education Impact Rankings and 36 in the world for a young university on Times Higher Education ranking. We actually improved, we've climbed up 22 places compared to last year. So in 2019, we were placed 58th for young university, and just this year, within 1 year, we've climbed up 22 places. So now bringing us to 36 in the world. Besides our high ranks, Western Sydney offers a very extensive professional accreditations with strong international recognition for most of our programs. Actually, all of our professional programs does come with accreditations, which you will realize later on when I talk about some of our top programs. We have a practical approach with our curriculum that combines real work experience. So a lot of our programs does come with internship and work placement opportunities. We have a very strong industry connection embedded in our programs. And of course, programs such as nursing, social work, and health science and teaching does come with a compulsory and guarantee prac. So that's clinical practice or teaching practice. So it does incorporate in the program itself. Most of our postgraduates, so most of our master's program are developed together with our own industry partners. So we actually approach the industry to discuss with them what are the most high demanded areas, what are the employers looking for in terms of a master graduate when it comes to certain industry skills, knowledge, and experience, and we design our masters according to those feedback. So this means our graduates for masters will graduate with the most relevant skills and experience they need, which will make them very employable compared to other course graduates. Western Sydney, of course, you know from the name, we are centered in Australia's fastest growing economic region, which is Greater Western Sydney. Greater Western Sydney is actually the 3rd largest economic contribution in Australia itself. So followed by, Sydney CBD and then Melbourne, then Greater Western Sydney. So the economy is actually bigger than Gold Coast and Brisbane, these big cities. Of course, and most importantly is our price point. Western Sydney offers a very competitive price range for such a high-ranked public university here in Australia. Our price starts from a $26,000 per year range, and that is even before scholarship. In addition to our very competitive price, we do offer a very generous amount of international scholarships as well. So for next year, 2021, we are offering a scholarship that will have 86% of our total students, 86% of our total international students will get scholarship for 2021. And the scholarship amount up to 25% of total course duration. So that's actually very generous. On top of that, we do also have the 50% Vice Chancellor Scholarship for high achieving students. So the 50% is purely based on high academic merit. So in terms of more details with scholarship, I will talk about it later at the end of this presentation. So this is just some key top achievement for you guys to have a look. Some of them I've covered earlier, top 2% in the world, but Western Sydney is also #1 in the world for gender equality. And we have a 5-star perfect score ranking on the QS for teaching, employability, internationalization, facility, innovation, and inclusiveness. At the moment, we have, so we are a big size university. We actually offer over 270 different clubs and societies to students over 10 different campuses. In terms of our student population, in just 30 years, we now have close to 50,000 students studying at Western Sydney at the moment. Out of these total students, 6,700 approximately are international students. So that accounts to about 14%. But the best part with our student cohort is the diversity of our international students. They all come from over 170 different countries. Western Sydney is actually one of the most diversified universities here in Australia. So far, I actually haven't seen any university that has more than 170 nationalities yet. So far, averaging is about 80 to 140 for all the other universities. So we are proud to say we're one of the most diversified universities here. So in terms of overall ranking, so as I mentioned at the beginning, 3rd in the world for impact ranking this year, 36 in the world as a young university. And in terms of overall, as a whole uni, we are ranked 251 on the Times Higher Education, 368 on the ARWU, and top 500 on the QS as an overall university. So in terms of campuses, these are, I do want to touch on a bit actually of the pathway for Western Sydney. So for Western Sydney University, we have 2 different pathways. So English pathway and academic pathway for students who don't meet direct requirement into the university. So if you have any student that is required to package with EAP English, then it will be through our fully owned college. It's called Western Sydney The College. So they offer and deliver our early course program for our international students. And if you have student that needs the package academic pathway through foundation or diploma, then it will be through international college. So international college is 50% owned by Western Sydney and 50% owned by Navitas. So they are the one that will manage and deliver our academic pathway program. However, some of you may notice we do have a Sydney City campus in the CBD, but please be aware that campus is fully operated and fully owned by Navitas. So it's not considered a Western Sydney campus. It's more like a licensing partnership where Navitas deliver Western Sydney program. So if you have any student that are interested to study in the city campus, just to be aware, everything will be different. The marketing, scholarships, intake, and also even the admission team, everything will be completely different from the university. So the only thing that's the same is the course syllabus, that's all. So it's just a good understanding where you can explain to students what's the difference and why they should choose Western Sydney main campus instead of the city campus. In terms of our Western Sydney campuses, main campuses, we have Bankstown, Campbelltown, Hawkesbury, Liverpool, Parramatta City, Penrith, Sydney City's Navitas campus, the 2 near Rimba and Sydney Olympic Park. These 2 is our English pathway colleges. If you want to have an idea how our campuses look like at Western Sydney, the first one, Bankstown campus, we're very proud to announce By 2022, we have a new opening of Bankstown campus that looks like this. It is a $260 million building in Bankstown itself. They started to build it already. So by 2022, it's when it will be open to students to start the course. And then we have Campbelltown campus, which is primarily for medicine, nursing, and health science. Hawkesbury campus, I do want to emphasize, Hawkesbury is a regional campus. So Western Sydney now actually offers a regional campus to nursing and science students. Unfortunately, the Hawkesbury campus offers limited programs. So programs like business, engineering, IT, those programs unfortunately are not offered in Hawkesbury campus. However, if you're a student that wants to study nursing or science, so such as in agriculture, in environment, in animal areas, those areas are offered in Hawkesbury, so they can get the benefit of a regional campus with their points and the additional year when they apply for their post-study work visa. And Parramatta South, which is our main and first campus, all programs will be delivered in Parramatta South as an option. And this is the Parramatta City campus. It's literally 50 meters from Parramatta train station and right next to Westfield as well. It's a very convenient location. This campus is a main School of Business campus. However, we do deliver programs such as IT, engineering, and most other programs as well. So it's one of our most popular programs for students to choose because of the convenience, and it is a very new, fancy high-rise building. This is our Penrith campus. It's mainly for engineering, but of course we do have other programs such as teaching as well delivered in that campus. Liverpool City campus is another new high-rise modern building of our campus as well. Majority nursing students like to choose Liverpool campus because it is located right next to Liverpool Hospital, which we have an exclusive partnership with Liverpool Hospital to take in our nursing students to do their clinical practice in the hospital itself. So next, I would like to quickly touch on Western careers. So we do offer a very strong career services to specifically to our international students to help them with finding a job here in Australia. So the job would range from an internship while they're doing their program, work placement, part-time job, up to graduate position. So Western Career is actually one of the strongest career service here in New South Wales. And they're one of the reasons why our students are ranked the most satisfactory in New South Wales as well. So the service is completely free of charge. Student can access it anytime. Just as long as students actually make full use of this service, they help student with resume, writing, interview preparation, even connecting students with the industry connection, industry workshop, from A to Z about how to get a job in Australia. Western Careers is there to help our students. Just a bit that I'd like to touch on as well to show the quality of our internship and the opportunities we are actually able to provide international students. This is just one of the example of our many different partners, but one of the example we'd like to talk about is with PwC, PricewaterhouseCoopers, the Center of Excellence at PricewaterhouseCoopers. So they actually recruited 125 students from Western Sydney alone in just 1 year, which is last year, 2019, 125 just as an intern alone. But the impressive number out of these is 50% are Australian domestic students, but an equal 50% are international students. So we actually provide equal amount of opportunities for good internship, not just to the local Australian student, but equally to our international students as well. And this is just within 1 year. And every year we do send over 100 students as an intern while they're doing their programs to PricewaterhouseCoopers. So this actually shows. And again, as I mentioned, this is just one of the examples. We have many other industry partners for internship and work placements as well. Just quickly on some of the key updates from Western Sydney. Currently, all classes will be delivered online. We do have a session 3 intake November this year, which I'll talk about in more details after this slide. It will start online. And for next year session 1 intake, it's looking very likely it's going to be online as well, because the border is not going to open by then. It's looking like that. So that means if you have students who are offshore, they can still start the program, but they start the program online offshore in their own home country. For onshore students, we have approved a $5,000 COE deposit for all onshore students. So if you have an onshore student who has difficulty paying the full initial deposit for acceptance, student can pay $5,000 to get a COE. However, remaining payment must be made at least 1 month before the course commencement. So for Q1 intake in January, remaining payment must be paid by 1st of December. And for all session 1 autumn intake next year, all remaining payment must be made by 1st of February. So that's a $5,000 COE deposit. However, if you have students that actually can pay the full amount, I would strongly encourage to so it's an option there for students, but not necessarily all students must only pay $5,000 deposit. So if some student actually can afford to pay the full initial deposit amount, I would strongly advise to do so, because that would save more work later on for you to have to follow up and chase up with the students to get the remaining payment. We have our package. So if your student is packaging with foundation or pathway, foundation or diploma pathway, the primary course deposit was usually $5,000. It's now reduced to $2,000 instead of $5,000. If you have any student that started our course online and offshore, later on when the immigration started to process visa and they got a visa refusal afterwards, they will get full refund back from the university. Even though they have started the course online with us, they will still get full refund. And most importantly, while classes are being delivered online at the moment, we actually allow students to repeat the subject completely free of charge. So without charging the student if they failed any units while classes are being online right now, and without any academic penalty. So that means the failed units won't show on the student's transcript, and it also wouldn't count towards their final GPA as well. However, it does come with a condition. So student must at least demonstrate that they've attempted to pass the unit by actually submitting their assessment, by actually taking the exams. Exams will still be going on even though things are online, but they're doing the exams online through their laptop instead of being in a hall face-to-face. So we do have a new intake, session 3 November intake at Western Sydney. It's the first time we're offering it. All students will receive scholarship for the November this coming intake. The intake starts 30th of November until 21st of November. It is a 2-unit study load. So students, whether they're onshore or offshore, if they commence this intake, they only need to start with 2 subjects. So that means the initial tuition fee that student needs to pay will also be reduced by 50%. So instead of having to pay the usual 4 subjects, they only need to pay for 2 subjects. And the most important thing is the scholarships. So we're offering a $3,000 multi-year scholarships to all students on automatic. So as long as students put in an application, when they get the offer, $3,000 multi-year will automatically apply on all offer letter. Multi-year meaning it's every year. So $3,000 are offered to the students each year, every year, throughout the duration of their program for a maximum of 3 years. But if a student get a decent score, so if let's just say their most recent completed qualification has a result of a 65% average or GPA 4.55 out of 7, they will be able to get $5,000 per year instead of the $3,000. So they'll get more. And for students who achieve the results of 75% average, which is actually not too high, it's quite easily achievable, or a GPA 5.25 out of 7, then they will get $7,500 per year instead of $3,000. So for a 3-year degree, that would amount to around 22,500 Australian dollars if a student get around 75 average in their most recent completed qualification. So that's the session 3. So if you have any students onshore especially that actually are looking for courses to start in November time, please think about Western Sydney because they can get a very generous amount of scholarship and they can only start with 2 subjects instead of having to wait till next year. The courses we offer in session 3 intake are these. So not all programs we offer in November. So only some top programs: Bachelor of Business, Accounting, Bachelor of ICT, Information Systems, Cybersecurity and Behavior, Computer Science, Data Science, Engineering. And for Masters, Engineering, Teaching Early Childhood, Master of Information and Communication Technology. We're actually the only university in Australia that is offering a Master of Teaching in a session 3 intake. So that's actually a very good promotion to your students. And for onshore teaching is one of the most popular programs as well. And so our top programs at Western Sydney, so the most popular one, of course, is a business, Bachelor of Accounting, Nursing, Arts, Engineering, Information and Communication Technology, Bachelor of Information System, Computer Science, Construction Management, Health Science, and Occupational Therapy. And for the Masters, we have Master of Business Administration, Master of Professional Accounting, Master of Business Analytics, Applied Finance, Teaching, Social Work, Information and Communications Technology, Engineering, Property Investment Management, Project Management, Psychotherapy and Counseling, and Data Science. So these are our top programs for undergraduate and postgraduate. And you may notice most of them are some niche programs that are on the occupational skill list for PR. And that is what we do best at Western Sydney. And that's where we get most of our students. Programs such as nursing, social work, teaching, engineering, IT, and of course, health science area, occupational therapy, these kind of areas, we do get a lot of students. So now I'm gonna start with nursing, one of our most popular programs. Western Sydney is actually the biggest, we have the biggest nursing program in Australia with the biggest cohort of students in nursing actually. So of course our nursing is accredited, meaning students can graduate and apply for their registration to be a nurse here in Australia. In terms of ranking, we're ranked #1 nursing school in Australia by the Center of World University Rankings and top 100 in the world on the QS World Ranking. A bit of an understanding of the structure of our nursing program. First of all of our nursing campus does have a simulated learning environment built in to actually first teach the students about the areas, nursing areas, such as this that you can see in the picture. And then after that, in their year 2 and their year 3, students will do their clinical practice in the real environment. So most of them will be in real hospitals. So in the year 2, they will get 4 weeks in the first semester, another 4 weeks in their second semester. And when they enter their 3rd year in the nursing degree, another 4 weeks in the first semester and 6 weeks in their final semester of the degree. So it would add up to about 800 hours of off-campus clinical practice experience. So that's for all students. So in terms of nursing program, we have 2 types. We have Bachelor of Nursing graduate entry and the General Bachelor of Nursing 3 years. So Bachelor of Nursing graduate entry is offered to students who either have a degree in nursing or a relevant area from their own home country, or is a registered nurse in their own home country, then they can apply for the graduate entry, which is a shorter duration nursing program. If you look at the price here, it says $39,000. That is just for the first year, because for our graduate entry program in the first year, students will take 10 subjects. So students will have to complete 10 subjects in their first year. That's why it's a lot more expensive. However, in their second year, they only complete 17 subjects instead of 8 and instead of 10. So that means the total unit for our Bachelor of Nursing graduate entry is 17 subjects to be completed. 10 in the first year and 7 in the second year. So that means that in their second year, their course fee will be only $28,000. So a lot less. For nursing, we offer in 4 different campuses: Campbelltown, Hawkesbury, Parramatta, and Liverpool. And I mentioned at the beginning, Hawkesbury is a regional campus, so students can choose to study there. And you notice the intake is for graduate entry is very different from all of our programs. All our programs starts in March for session 1. Only for graduate entry, it starts 2 months earlier in January because of the additional 2 subjects students have to complete in their first year. So the 2 subjects that they do will be between the January and March. They finish the first 2 subjects, and after that, they finish the remaining 8. For students that don't meet the direct entry for graduate entry, then they can apply for the Bachelor of Nursing 3 years program. So basically the entry requirement is as long as student completed an Australian Year 12 qualification or above, equivalent to that, with a minimum ATAR 70 or equivalent. So there is a minimum academic score we ask for that's actually slightly higher than our other programs. And if you have student that is completing a Diploma of Nursing onshore here, an NMAC approved Diploma of Nursing, they can apply into our Bachelor of Nursing with full 1 year advanced standing, so credit transfer. So for those students who are completing Diploma of Nursing here, an accredited Diploma of Nursing, they can join our Bachelor of Nursing in only 2 years' time. So they come in directly in year 2. It's actually a better option than graduate entry because they actually do 1 subject less. Because for graduate entry, student needs to complete 17 subjects. But for those students with the second entry, after they completed their Diploma of Nursing, they only need to complete 16 subjects. So it's actually 1 subject cheaper for these students. I think we are already aware of the English requirement for nursing since this year is increased to 7 overall, no band less than 7 for English or equivalent. So PT will be 65. But the good news is Western Sydney actually takes combined English score with the band, not the overall. So let's just say if your student get the overall of 7, but one of the band in their IELTS is 6.5. Let's just say the first test, the writing is 6.5. The rest is above 7 and overall is 7. And student try again the next sitting and achieve an overall of 7. And then this time the reading is 6.5 and everything else is 7. In this case, we can combine 2 tests for the students, but the 2 test sitting must be within 6 months period. Hope that makes sense. Yes, I will leave any questions to the end. So as I go through the slide, if any of you have any question while I'm going through a slide and if you're afraid you will forget about the question, feel free to type them up on the Q&A so I can go back and I can address it later on at the end of the presentation. We do have Masters of Nursing offered as well. However, it's not an accredited program. So I won't touch on it in more details because it's not really a top program since it's not accredited. We do also have a Bachelor of Nursing English program. Please do ignore the word direct entry over here because it is unfortunately not a direct entry. So it is more like an IELTS preparation program. It's a 12-week duration English program for students who wants to commence nursing but couldn't get the score they need, and either their either their visa is expiring very soon, they don't have time to retake, so then they can package with this English with a COE, combined COE issued to them, or for students that really has no confidence that they can get the IELTS or PTE they need, then they can also choose to do this English package to help them lift their English level up. So it's a 12-week duration. It starts in October, 26th of October, so end of this month. So it's aligned to the commencement of our Bachelor of Nursing degree in March next year. The program comes with a free PTE test at the end of the program. And at the moment, we are offering a 50% scholarship. So the whole program, including one free PTE test, will only cost $2,850. It will be a package program together with the nursing. So that means the COE will be issued together, but the nursing COE will be a conditional COE because at the end of this program, the students still need to provide the required English test results. They can do either the PTE or they can retry IELTS again at the end as many times as they want. So it's not just one test, as long as they're able to provide us with the English score before the Bachelor of Nursing intake starts. Social work. So social work is also accredited by AASW with more than 1,000 hours of supervised field placement. We're actually ranked top 150 in the world when it comes to sociology on a QS World Ranking. We have Bachelor of Social Work. It's a 4-year degree with the same amount of placement, also accredited for students who wants to study a bachelor level. But more popular is for our postgraduate level. Most students who want to study Master of Social Work are master level. However, the biggest challenge is a lot of these students has bachelor in complete different background. But the good thing with Western Sydney is we are the only university that actually offers a postgraduate social work bridging program for these type of students. So if you have students who completed their bachelor in complete different areas, such as in business, IT, or engineering, they can graduate with a Master of Social Work qualification at Western Sydney in just 2.5 years. So we can package postgraduate bridging program to these students. It's just 6 months. Once they complete this 6 months and pass 4 subjects, they will be able to go directly into our Master of Social Work for 2 years. And the good thing with this package is the English requirement. So for student who needs the package, the 6 months bridging program, the English requirement is only 6.5, no band less than 6. So it's a general English requirement. And when they finish this program, they can enter directly into Master of Social Work without having to retake the IELTS anymore. So it's a win-win situation for these students. Not only they can study the Master of Social Work with just an additional 6 months, their IELTS level will decrease as well, the requirement. However, for students who meet the direct entry of Master of Social Work, so if their bachelor is in a similar background in health or education or society and culture area, unfortunately, they won't be able to package with this. They will then need to commence directly of Master of Social Work. And then for these students, they will require to provide IELTS of 7 overall, no band less than 6.5. And with this higher English requirement, unfortunately, we won't be able to waive, we won't be able to recognize prior English learning. So if a student completed bachelor in Australia, we still won't be able to waive that. They will still need to provide this level of English. However, what we can do is we can package EAP 5 for those students for direct entry. So they can package 10 weeks of English with EAP 5, and once they finish that, they can come straight to Master of Social Work. Otherwise, for other students that needs to package the bridging program because their bachelor background is different from health, education, and society. They don't need the higher IELTS, just the standard IELTS, and we can waive. So we can recognize prior English learning. So that's our social work program. The only thing that needs to watch out is the intake. That's the only challenge part with our social work because we only offer one intake per year. So our Master of Social Work starts in March every year only. So that means for bridging program, it has to be 6 months before that to match the timeline. So that's why our bridging program starts in July every year. So that's only one intake per year. So once students miss the intake, they kind of need to wait for 1 more year. That's the only challenging part. Teaching. Teaching also accredited. In fact, we have a double accreditation by NESA and ACECQA. We are top 10 education faculty in Australia. For teaching, we don't have Bachelor of Teaching at Western Sydney, but we do have a Bachelor of Arts pathway to teaching. So it's a 5-year pathway package for students that don't meet direct entry to Master of Teaching and wants to become a teacher. At Western Sydney, the only option for these students is to first do a Bachelor of Arts, 3 years, and then pathway to teaching with another 2 years. So it's a 5-year package. However, most of our onshore students will meet direct entry with Master of Teaching because we do have Master of Teaching Early Childhood, which is quite easy to meet. The requirement for Master of Teaching Early Childhood is that student must have successfully completed an undergraduate degree in any areas. However, the GPA must be a minimum 4 out of 7. So that's around 60%. That's not too hard. So that is the minimum requirement for Master of Teaching Early Childhood. I do want to mention we have Birth to 5 and Birth to 12 as the program. So all students, when they apply, it will automatically be Birth to 5 and Birth to 12. However, students can choose to exit the program in 2 years with Master of Teaching Birth to 5 qualification. So they can exit earlier in 6 months earlier with just Birth to 5. And that's enough for them for the skill assessment. But if student wants to, for another 6 months, they can graduate with Birth to 12 as well. So that means they will meet the skills, migration skills assessment. But they also get to, in terms of career opportunity, they can apply to become a primary school teacher as well. So in terms of value-wise and advantage for students, they really want to be able to find a job in Australia in teaching, it will be better to go with 2.5 years and graduate with a primary qualification as well. But if students they want to finish as early as possible, they can exit this course in 2 years to get the Birth to 5 qualification. Then we also have Master of Teaching Primary and Secondary. So it's a 2-year degree, but it's harder than early childhood because for either Master of Teaching Primary or Master of Teaching Secondary, the applicant must have successfully completed an undergraduate degree with at least 8 units of study in one area relevant to primary teaching. So they need to have a relevant teaching background. For English teaching, of course, we all know that it's also higher. I have a dedicated English requirement schedule at the end of this, which I show, but just to touch on while we're already talking about teaching is that the good thing with Master of Teaching is we actually can waive English for students who completed their bachelor here in Australia, but it needs to be a minimum 3-year degree. So that's why if a student completed just a 2-year master onshore, they can't waive their English. They need to meet the required IELTS score. But if a student completed a 3-year bachelor here onshore, then they don't need to provide IELTS anymore for teaching. And the difference between why for teaching we can waive IELTS is because the accreditation body actually allows it. Unlike social work and nursing, the accreditation body doesn't allow that. So that's why the difference, not because of the university. The difference is because the authorization body requires different things. Engineering. Our engineering is one of the highest ranking school actually. We're in the top 75 in civil engineering in the world on the QS, and top 150 on the QS in electrical and electronic engineering. Our engineering comes with a 12 weeks compulsory industrial experience. So all students will guaranteed graduate with a 12 weeks of engineering experience here in Australia. All of our engineering programs in our engineering faculty are accredited by Engineers Australia. A lot of universities don't have all programs accreditation. Maybe they have one or only some programs within their engineering faculty is accredited, but at Western Sydney, all of our programs in School of Engineering are accredited. In terms of the quality of our engineering program, this diagram here can prove that we are actually offering one of the best engineering program out there. So this is retrieved from QILT. QILT is a third-party research research platform for students. So students who actually completed the program from their own university will go to QILT and rates and so review their own learning experience from their own university. So we have retrieved this comparing ourselves to other universities such as Macquarie. So the pink one is Macquarie, the blue one is UNSW, the orange one is University of Sydney, the green one is UTS, and the last and purple one is Western Sydney. So among them, there are two groups of 8 universities. So when it comes to engineering, the students, in terms of their review, their rating, Western Sydney is comes number 1 when it comes to learning resources. We are ranked over 85%, whereas all these other unis are below us. When it comes to student support, we are leading way ahead than all of these other universities. This is the standard line. All the universities didn't meet that, but Western Sydney has a good 80% rank when it comes to student support. In terms of graduate satisfactory, again, Western Sydney has a much higher ranking percentile compared to UNSW, University of Sydney and UTS. And lastly, graduate employment, we are also ranked number 1 compared to this university. Again, to emphasize, this is in engineering program itself. So as an overall, of course, group of 8 universities are ranked group of 8 for a lot of reasons. They are great university, you know, they have high ranking in the world. But when it comes to engineering program, this again to emphasize this, these charts you see here are rated not by us, not by the staff, not by academics. It's rated by actual students who completed the course in the respective institutions. So this actually shows our students when they study engineering at Western Sydney, their satisfaction is a lot higher than the other universities here. So we're very proud of that. In terms of industry partners in engineering, these are all of the top industries we work with for internships. Programs, Bachelor of Engineering honors, we have civil, construction, electrical, mechanical, robotics, and mechatronics for students specializing. It's a 4-year honor degree for engineering with 2 intakes a year, March and July. However, we're offering the Bachelor of Engineering for this November intake as well. So if your student wants to do Bachelor of Engineering, they have another intake this year in November. They can apply with a guaranteed scholarship at Western Sydney. And then you have Master of Engineering as well. It's 2-year. However, Master of Engineering is only for students who has completed a 4-year undergraduate degree in engineering area. computer, data, and mathematics, so IT. Also, as others, it's accredited by Australian Computer Society. We have industry placement option for the postgraduate in ICT. And we are the only university in Sydney to actually offer a degree in information and communication technology, specializing in health information management. So if you have any student that are interested in ICT and wants to specialize that skills in the health industry, which is the two most popular and high demand industry right at the moment, Western Sydney is the only university can offer that specific program in Sydney. So for IT, we have Bachelor of Computer Science. It's a 3-year degree. Our computer science is very popular because of the AI specialization option, which is becoming a highly demanded program. So a lot of students who wants to specialize in artificial intelligence or cybersecurity is the second popular program in IT. They can choose to study computer science at Western Sydney. Or Bachelor of ICT and Communication Technology. The specialization we offer is cybersecurity, entertainment computing, health informatics, the one I mentioned earlier at the beginning in health information management. That's the specialization student can choose. Mathematics, mobile computing, and networking. Then with Bachelor of Information System, and lastly, Master of ICT in cybersecurity, entertainment computing, health informatics, mathematics, mobile computing, or networking. And just to emphasize, all of these programs you see over here are also offered in Session 3 November intake with guaranteed scholarship. So if any of your students wants to study any of these programs, they can apply for our coming November intake. Lastly, built environment. Our built environment is another very strong school at Western Sydney with a 91% employment rate within 4 months after graduation. And our civil engineering is the top 75 in the world on the QS ranking. And it comes with also a compulsory 1,200 hours of industry placement. So in terms of the program, our popular program in built environment, for undergraduate is Bachelor of Construction Management honor degree. They're all accredited for these both programs. For Bachelor of Construction Management comes with 1,200 hours of industry placement with 3 different accreditation, AIM, AIQS, and CIOB. For postgraduate level, will be Master of Project Management, which is also very popular because of the opportunities for their PR skilled assessment as well. It's a 2-year degree, 2 intakes a year, March and July. We have 3 different specialization: construction, information communication technology, or engineering. They can specialize in these 3 for the project management, and it is accredited by ICCPM. So those are the top programs I will touch on today. If there's any specific course that you want to get information today that I didn't touch on, feel free to again answer them in the Q&A box below, and then I can talk about it after the presentation. In terms of English requirement, all of our undergrad and postgrad programs are the standard 6.5 overall, no band less than 6 or equivalent. For these kind of programs with the standard English, we can recognize prior English learning. So as long as student has completed any qualification, as long as it's Cert 4 and higher onshore, it can be waived. Or if student has successfully completed 1 year of university study or 1 year of diploma minimum, that can be waived as well, except for below programs. So Bachelor of Nursing is of course the standard 7 overall, no band less than 7. Master of Teaching is 7.5 overall with minimum 7 in reading and writing and minimum 8 in speaking and listening. But the difference with Master of Teaching, as I mentioned earlier, English can be waived if student completed a 3-year bachelor onshore. That's just exception for Master of Teaching because of the accreditation body accepting that. Master of Social Work, it's 7.0 overall, no band less than 6.5. Doctor of Medicine, 7, no band less than 7. Master of Professional Psychology, Master of Clinical Psychology, 7, no band less than 7. There are 2 other programs that are not here that also require 7, no band less than 7, are the health area, so such as occupational therapy and physiology. So these 2, also 7, no band less than 7, because those 2 courses are accredited by APRA as well. In terms of academic entry requirement, general program, all of the program, for Australia high school student, they just need a minimum ATAR 60. This applies to engineering program, Bachelor of Engineering, Bachelor of IT, Bachelor of all the business programs. So basically all program except for medicine, except for occupational therapy, physio, and except for nursing. Nursing is a minimum ATAR 70 or equivalent, but all others is ATAR 60. So that's it's very achievable. For Indonesia, students who completed their qualification from Indonesia, then we ask for a national examination score of GPA 7.5 out of 10. And for A-level or Malaysia, these are the, oh, I forgot to mention, I will share these presentation slides as well to Yes Education. And so if there's any information you need, you can access these slides as well after. Or a successful completion of a foundation program, or at least 1 year of university study for most of our undergraduate degree. If you want to know some specific countries' entry requirement, you can click this link here. It will take you there. For postgraduate, as long as you successfully completed a bachelor degree, that's equivalent to Australian level. And we do have pathway option for students that didn't meet direct entry into our bachelor program. For foundation studies, we have in 3 areas: business, health science, and nursing, or diploma in 4 areas: arts, business, engineering, and information and communications. There are 2 different types of durations for our pathway, either an extended 3 semesters, so 1 full year, or 8 months, 2 semesters. That will depend on the students, their performance, of course. So for foundation, as long as students completed their year 11 with an average score, they can enter the foundation extended one, or if they have a year 11 results with higher than average, then they can apply into the shorter one, so the 8 months foundation program. And for diploma, it will be an HSC ATAR 50 or equivalent. For the extended 1 year diploma or a shorter 8 months diploma, they only need ATAR 55 or equivalent. So that's our pathway requirement. For English-wise diploma, the English we ask for is IELTS 6, minimum 5.5, and for foundation is 5.5 with minimum band 5. Lastly, scholarship. For 2021, we have 4 different types of scholarship. We have the 50% Vice Chancellor Scholarship for high achieving students. We have either a $3,000 multi-year scholarship or $6,000 multi-year scholarship. And we have a $6,000 bursary, multi-year bursary for UWAC students. In terms of details, for undergraduate scholarship, all students who apply for an undergraduate degree at Western Sydney, so any bachelor program, including nursing, will automatically receive a $3,000 multi-year scholarship without any academic condition. As long as they meet the admission requirement, the offer letter will automatically give them a $3,000 scholarship for each year. Again, that includes nursing as well. Now, if your student gets a bit of a better results in their most recent completed qualification, either an ATAR of 75 or an average score of 75%, or a GPA 5.25 out of 7. So the scale of 7 is an Australian GPA standard, but usually for a lot of other offshore countries such as Indonesia, And Malaysia, the GPA scale will be out of 4. Then it will be 2.25 out of the scale of 4. Or the SMR, they have 8 out of 10. All of these, if students achieve any of these results in the qualification, they will be able to get, instead of 3,000, they will get double the amount. They will get $6,000 each year over their course duration. This is for undergraduate. If you have students who are studying high school here, the HSC here in Australia, they all will automatically get $6,000 scholarship without any academic cutoff. Academic cutoff meaning academic requirements or academic merits. We don't ask for that. So it's an automatic scholarship. So as long as student, we have recently changed that. We now do accept direct application for onshore HSC students. So it doesn't need to be through UAC. As long as student is finishing their year 12 here in Australia, they will be entitled for the automatic $6,000 multi-year scholarship. And you can apply directly to us, to our admission, without going through UAC as well. And then for postgraduate, we have a specific 14 programs that offers a $6,000 multi-year scholarship automatically without looking at academic performance. So the 14 specific master programs are Master of Engineering, Master of Project Management, Master of Science, Creative Industry, Information and Communication Technology, Artificial Intelligence, Data Science, Business Analytics, Public Health, Health Science, Teaching Early Childhood, Teaching Secondary, Property, Investment and Development, and Juris Doctor. So these 14 specific master program, as long as your student apply to this program, they will automatically receive $6,000 multi-year scholarship on their offer letter, regardless of how their performance was. Again, as long as they meet the admission entry requirement, they can actually commence and enroll the program with $6,000 multi-year scholarship. But for programs that are not within this, for example, MBA course, Master of Social Work, programs that are not here, we still have scholarships as well, but it will be based on academic merits. So if a student have around a 63% average mark or 4.4 out of 7, their GPA in their recent completed qualification, they will be able to get a $3,000 multi-year scholarship. Or if they get an average percentage of 75% with 5.25 GPA, then they will get $6,000 multi-year scholarship for all other postgraduate programs. This one is for subcontinent countries, offshore countries, so you can disregard this here. We just look at the top part here. Lastly, 50% Vice Chancellor Scholarship for high achieving students only. So if your student get an ATAR 95 or higher, or GPA 6.5 out of 7, they can be assessed and ranked in order for our 50% Vice Chancellor Scholarship. We rank them in order because there is a limited spots for, so we have a limited amount of this 50% scholarship we give out. So we give out on a ranked order. So who has the highest till we finish the scholarship for that allocated semester. So that's it from me for today. I hope I covered enough for what you're looking for today. Let's just see what questions we have. First, I've got from Gloria, do you have an indication of when offshore students are allowed to travel to Sydney? Unfortunately not, because we are hoping by session 1 next year, they should slowly open. But with the recent news and announcement, it's looking unlikely. So it is $1 million question. We ask that all the time as well as a university. So unfortunately, Gloria, I don't have a good answer for that. And if anyone has the answer to that, I'd like to know as well. Another one from you as well, Gloria. For the Bachelor of Nursing graduate entry, can a student do online study while they are offshore if the border? All right, that's a very good question, Gloria. I'm glad you mentioned. There are two programs that are not be able to deliver online, are medicine course and nursing. These two programs unfortunately can't be delivered and commence online offshore because of the accreditation body. So APRA, so medicine and nursing are accredited by APRA. They actually don't allow the course to be delivered online because it doesn't meet their accreditation requirement. So unfortunately, nursing and medicine, they need to wait till the borders open, only they can come in. Hope that answers your question. You're welcome, Gloria.
Okay, thanks very much, Jing, and thanks for everyone listening today. And if you have any further question, you can leave your question in the Q&A box. Yeah, or maybe you have any further question in the future, we can pass it to Jing. And we will also send today's PPT and recording to you via emails, and you can review the today's training again. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think it's yeah.
Oh, there's another.
Oh yeah.
Gloria, I have a client who wants to study diploma in nursing first and Bachelor of Nursing candidates. Unfortunately, we don't offer any diploma package. It needs to be separated. So what I advise is ask your students to start this diploma in nursing. At least once they start for at least one semester, they can start the application process and apply to Western Sydney for the Bachelor of Nursing, and the student may be able to get a conditional COE based on successful completion of the Diploma of Nursing, as long as student already meet the English requirement of 7.0. But just make sure the Diploma of Nursing must be an accredited and NMAC approved Diploma of Nursing. So we can't package right away, but we can issue a conditional COE pending on English and proof of course progression. Oh, she has met English requirement. Okay, that's great. So I guess for this case, once she started at least one semester where she's able to provide at least the first semester of transcript to us, then we can provide the conditional COE to the student then. But before that, unfortunately, we can't do anything. Another question from Jambe.
I think what he means is under which circumstance that you won't allow the students to apply. Like, what's the gap? How big is a gap then you won't allow students to apply? I think that case by case, right?
Yes, it really depends, because if for any gap longer than 6 months, we will ask for SOP. We'll ask students to explain, and depending on the reason, if some student has a very compelling reason, then we may consider. It also depends on the student academic background, where they come from, all of this. So unfortunately, I can't give you a straight answer, Jambe. It will be on a case by case basis, and it will be assessed directly by our compliance manager.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I think all good for today. And yeah.
So if no more question comes through, we shall end the session here. If after the session you guys have any question that you forgot to ask today, or I didn't cover today, feel free to ask Yes Education. They're quite experienced and familiar with Western Sydney. They'll be able to help you directly as well. I'd like to thank you, Mike and Johnny, for organizing this and being here today. Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks a lot, Jin, for today's training.
No problem. And thanks everyone for attending today. I wish you a lovely afternoon and stay safe, everyone.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.